This is Bryson here with The Big Ship, here with Analog by NAT. How you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Good, good. Should we just
Sweet.
get into it?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Right, so with a background in film and writing, how did graphic design and collage art sort of become your main focus?
So yeah, I think collage art, even though that's what I do at the moment, I still wouldn't say that's my main focus. I think I still maintain to believe I'm a general creative. I think I will make another film again, all that kind of stuff. But with this kind of artwork, I think a lot of people connect with it in terms of the story that every piece tells, and that comes from my film, from my background in filmmaking. Every image starts with a story, and then I build the visual from there, basically. So that's kind of how it informs my collage art, yeah.
And what was it about this type of art that sort of attracted you as sort of a form of expression over other mediums, or at least this sort of style?
Yeah, it's a good question. I would say what I love about collage and digital art is that you tend to break a lot of barriers in terms of juxtaposition's a massive point in this artwork, in terms of you can create a world and create circumstances or visual situations that you just wouldn't normally have in day-to-day life. And I think people react to that in terms of people love seeing things that aren't normal and they're not going to see every single day. And I think the freedom that I get from collage and kind of the ability to create really absurd little worlds every single day, I think that's the main thing that drives us and what I love about collage art.
And can you talk a little bit sort of about your process, like how an idea comes about?
Yeah, so that's I get that every single day on Instagram. I get a DM, my process, and I always say it's story first every single time. Same with filmmaking. I think the same with any creative medium. It's you've got to start with your story first. You've got to tell something with your artwork. You've got to say something. For me, I'll start with the literature. So I'll start with the quote at the moment. Is the main thing that I do at the minute. That's what's kind of took off on Instagram. So I'll start with a quote, basically starting with a theme, and then I'd try and flesh out from there, build a visual from there. I'll always tend to find a subject as well. So the normal process will be is the quote, so the theme, the subject, so how can that inform the theme, and then a kind of mad background image that'll just create that kind of juxtaposition in that mad world as
And
well.
do you start sort of, is it like a conscious decision where to start, or can it be inspired by sort of different
Can be
things?
inspired by anything, but I think with the new style and the kind of in this literature in the middle, it's got to kind of start with that really at the minute. It's very hard to kind of come up with a quote from a visual. It's easier to do the other way around in terms of making the visual inform what's in the centre.
And where do those quotes come from? Is it just from conversation? Your brain.
No, me brain. I do a lot of reading, do a lot of looking around. I do get a lot of inspiration. It's a key thing. People, there's Behance, the Shutterstock, there's Pinterest. People say you shouldn't do that, but I'd say you should. I think inspiration's a massive thing. There's a difference between inspiration and ripping someone off. So a lot of my artwork, a lot of people say all the time that my artwork's kind of got a cinematic quality, and that just comes from the fact that the people that inspire me are filmmakers generally. They're not designers, they're often filmmakers, Spike Jonze, Wes Anderson, people like that. And I have this thing where I'm quite obsessive over film. So if I see a cool filmmaker, I'll watch the film 10 times and I'm obsessed with the style. So that kind of feeds in. So in terms of being inspired, that's kind of how it kind of trickles in, really. So yeah, don't know if that answered the question.
It did. Is there anything in sort of your waking life that sort of affects your art or inspires your art as well, like other than other art?
Man. So just as a general person, I'm very observant, very distracted. So I'm always looking at everything everyone's doing. My girlfriend will go for some like scran, and I'll just be looking around the room, just ignoring. She's not even there. I'm like a little puppy. But that's just because I'm taking everything all the time. I think I have that knack where I can look around and just take in aspects. I look at every typography, signage, just everything in the world informs what I do. In terms of me, I think a massive part of my artwork is probably like a sensitivity, I'd say, in terms of, again, the storytelling, but there's people I think engage with this sensitivity in terms of there's a lot of allusions, I'd say, to mental health and to positivity and how to find balance. That comes from personal experience of mine of the past year having quite a tough year and realising I need to find balance in my life. If that's fitness, if that's art, if that's socially, balance is key, and I try and promote that through my artwork.
So would you say this is a good outlet to sort of start discussing or open doors to discuss?
Well, mate, it does, and that's the crazy thing, and people around me who know me, they're like, just Nathan, like Nat from school, but people do message now saying lovely things about the artwork, how it's helped them and all this stuff, and that is probably the best thing, I think. I mean, yes, I'll sell prints and yes, I'll get commissions, but the thing that really touches me is when people are just like, I've had a shit day, this piece of artwork's kind of put things in perspective, thank you. And I get that every single day. It can be overwhelming, but that's probably the biggest thing I think that's came from this page is the positivity that I'm trying to spread. And by the looks of it, it is working.
And do you have your audience in mind when you're creating a piece of art? Is that sort of a...
So this is a big one in, I think it's the trap with being on social media is you can't have them in your mind when you're creating, and that builds a pressure. So for me, like with Analog by NAT, mate, I went from creating a collage every day to 2,000 people. Within 2 weeks, it's now 21,000 people, and that comes into your mindset of you've got to make a great collage that's going to speak, that's going to get a certain amount of likes. That shouldn't affect it, but it does. So I do try to disengage with that, but it does affect your creative process in a way of you're constantly thinking, are people going to like this? Is this going to inspire people like the other work's done? I often find, though, my best pieces of art come when I'm not thinking. So they'll just come and I go, oh, that's pretty sick. I'll put it up, and then it gets tenfold more likes to a piece of work where I'm thinking that I need to inform, I need to help somebody, all this kind of stuff. So I think, yeah, mate, it definitely does affect my art, and it's just about, again, finding that balance, basically.
So do you sort of have an ideal audience in mind when you're creating, or is it just purely a personal thing?
Anyone, mate. Honestly, anyone who sees that, and the thing about art is anyone, it speaks to you. If everyone has a style, everyone has a taste of art, and anyone that my work speaks to is welcome on my page, to be fair. I mean, there is a trend at the minute. I think it's like Buenos Aires female, 24 years old, is the most popular fan of my page at the minute. But yeah, anyone who likes art, and if it speaks to them, mate, then I'm sound with that.
And do you think, sort of outside the audience, do you think the platform, like Instagram, sort of affects your creative process? Or
Yeah, man. So like Instagram's a part of the bigger thing, innit? Like in terms of, is it a problem or is it a solution? And I think for artists like me, I would say it is a solution, and it does give me a massive platform. But at the same time, like I mentioned before, it can be a hindrance to when I'm creating, because it does weigh over you. But I think all in all, I think if you get the balance right, Instagram does affect my creative process, and I would say for the better. Yeah.
Do you curate how you post, or do you want your page to be sort of a product of its own as well as the individual art?
I'd say that's what I'm trying to figure out now, in terms of it is transforming into a brand. Obviously, at first it was like a scrapbook. I just put stuff that I was making up. When you get a following and you get interest in your work, you know, and everyone's gonna fucking make money, mate. Everyone, and that does come into your mind, and that does, with this following growing, I am trying to figure out how do I transform it more into a brand. That is gonna happen, of clothing and mugs and all this mad stuff I'm gonna do. But at the same time, I want to maintain authenticity. I don't want to look like I'm trying to strain every quid out of it. I can, I'm not. But at the same time, if I'm putting X amount of hours into it, mate, I'm sacrificing my work life, so I've got to make some peas. Top boy.
And that sort of leads into the next one. So going forward, how do you want to improve or grow, specifically the craft, not so much the brand, but actually the physical craft and making the art?
How do I want to grow it? I think I just want to keep making, mate. If you keep making, you're going to improve. And I think that's, again, as a lot of people message saying, like, how did you do what you do and stuff? And I'm like, listen, if you scroll back 2 swipes on your phone at my page, you're going to see the shit. But it's just that working a little bit every single day, mate, you just close that creative gap, and you start, what you're making starts matching what's in your head. And I think that's the biggest sign. In terms of the page, I do want to take it into a brand. With the clothing and stuff, I want people to start repping it and start walking about with that positivity on the shirts. So I'm teaming up with some cool people, some 2 really close friends from school who are working in the kind of fashion industry, and they're going to kind of smash it. A big thing is I said this from day one, if I'm going to there's a big demand for clothing, but mate, what the fuck am I going to do with clothing? Like, I don't have a clue. So from day one, I've said that if I do anything with this page, I'm going to do it right every single time. So I've got the right people in, and we're going to kind of work on it and create something hopefully that's going to give back to the followers.
Collaboration is sort of important.
Massively collaboration, mate.
This isn't really, this sort of style, I'm guessing, isn't very collaborative.
It's not, mate, no. People say that. People are like, can I collab with you? And I'm just like, well, how do you want to collab with this? Like, it's very unique. Going back to your question about going forward, I would love to collaborate more with Northeast creatives in Newcastle as well. I haven't done that. I'm guilty of that, mate. There's a lot of cool pages out there who kind of really seek collaboration, and I just haven't engaged with that. Not because I'm a dick, it's because the main thing is confidence, mate. I haven't got the confidence to kind of go out there and meet people. And Analog by NAT, mate, the name of that's like a fucking pseudonym. Like I called it that so people wouldn't know it was me because I didn't have confidence at first. Like no one knew I was a designer. All my school friends, all that kind of stuff, nobody knew I did design. And I just came out with this page, and then as the following grew, confidence has grown, then I've put my name on it. So I think the next step now is to get in touch with the local community and try and engage. There's a big, from what I can look around Northeast artists, there's not many who have a following that I've managed to get at the minute. So I do want to try and give back and get people involved, definitely.
Is that sort of exciting or is that scary? Because obviously you've worked.
Both.
Yeah.
Both, mate. Like, exciting in terms of it'd be fucking, that the key thing about creativity with me is the people you work with, my best friends, my creative partner. And it's that kind of camaraderie you have with creating, that moment that it's like a dopamine hit when you hit that that idea. It's one of the best feelings you can get in the world, and I think that's exciting in terms of doing that with more people. The scary thing is putting yourself out there. And the same with anything in the world, really. You put yourself out there, you don't know what you're going to get. Everyone's massively insecure. Analog by NAT, if I wasn't doing that, mate, I'd definitely be in fucking therapy because it's like my main creative outlet. Do you know what I mean? So I just think scary for putting yourself out there, but I think the best things, as my page says, the best things come from fear, man. And you push yourself. That's how you. There's a quote for you.
And couple quick fire questions.
Yeah.
What album or albums have you been listening to recently that's sort of been inspiring?
I recently got back into A$AP Rocky's Testing from 2 years ago.
Nice.
So I loved it at the time. I left it aside, but I've went back to it because I think music's been shit this year. And also Young the Giant. I've been listening to a lot of their tunes at the minute.
Nice.
A lot of lo-fi hip hop as well when I'm doing my stuff.
Sort of get in the zone.
I get in the zone,
Yeah.
mate. I do get in the zone.
What book are you currently reading?
Book is completely unrelated. It's SEO marketing in 7 days. So I'm trying to learn how to market myself online, Google and all that kind of stuff. I'm trying to master that. A big thing as a creative, I think you've got to add as many tools as you can to your bow, and that's what I'm trying to do. So it's a boring read, but I think it's a necessary read.
Do you read a lot of like self-help or business type book?
Self-help? No, mate, I don't know. I've read my favourite book I've ever read's Hecate on Creativity. That's probably my favourite book I've ever read, and that was quality.
What was the last movie or series that sort of inspired you?
Last series that inspired me was Top Boy. Obviously, cinematic-wise, it was tremendous, but I think the themes and the depth of that programme, it educated me, and it made us realise that I'm just a fucking privileged little white boy living in Newcastle. And I think everyone has the judgment of this fear of around London and why are these people doing these things? And you see on BBC all the time the fucking knife crime stuff, and you just don't understand. Top Boy's educated me in terms of why it can happen, and I'm not saying it's right, but this is what these fucking kids know, and it's the politics around it that's forcing these kids to live this way, I think, and that's probably been my most inspiring thing. I've watched in years, mate. I've learned a lot from that. I think that's the key thing about a film, it's to educate, I think, and that's definitely what's done for me.
And lastly, if you could only save one piece of art from throughout history, what would it be?
I'd say Analog by NAT. That's what I'd say. I wouldn't really. One piece of art. Oh, I don't know, mate. Can it be a film?
Yeah, that's art.
That's art. I'll save Her by Spike Jones.
Nice.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. Thank you for doing this.